So, Abner, we are without Damien this week. It is just you and I here to discuss the third week in a row of just a deluge of Pixel 10 leaks and Pixel leaks in general. It is, you can tell we are entering August because
it's
nothing but Pixel leaks out there.
So yeah, with that deluge in mind, what stood out to you this week, Will?
I mean, let's start with pricing. I think pricing is the most obvious place because we have seen practically all there is to see about the hardware side of Pixel, and the software side, as we kind of discussed last week, tends to not leak before the event, or at the very least, you have to wait until those last minute leaks that have full product page leaks that highlight some stuff, right? So pricing is sort of the third pillar of that, and we are now at the point where we are close enough to launch that not only is pricing leaking, but it's US pricing, and you can kind of take it without too much of a grain of salt, right? Like these sound right. So and it's really easy because are you familiar with last year's Pixel 9 prices? You're familiar with this year's Pixel 10 prices. I with one exception in the Pro XL a little bit, these are effectively unchanged compared to last year, although the only difference being that there's no 128 gigabyte Pixel 10 Pro XL. That's just gone. The prices remain the same, but that 1099 model is no longer there. It's the Apple strategy. They did that a few years ago.
Yeah, so I don't think they could have raised the price.
Yeah.
With it looking the same, which
Agreed.
Is from it's not psychology, but from people's perspectives, it's something that looks the same cannot be more. So it's good that Google isn't doing that, and that tariffs or whatever did not impact the pricing. It'll be interesting to see what Apple ends up doing, actually, because they're rumored to do price increases because of tariffs and their crazy margins. But Google isn't, and that's a nice change. Not that, I don't think they could have raised it 100. Maybe they could have raised it 50, but I don't think 100 would have been pushing it this generation.
Yeah, I think there's just not enough there in terms of hardware changes to justify to an audience why, and you can do that or not marketing, but you can do that messaging of hey, it's, we've seen Nintendo, for example, do it, right? Like, hey, it's not our fault. It's like we don't know what's going on with tariffs. Exactly. But it's I think at the end of the day, these devices are so similar, with the single exception kind of being the Pixel 10, the base model, that it's difficult to see how they would have sold that to consumers. And at the same time, on the Pixel 10 side, I don't know, Google's phone lineup is so set where it is right now that I don't even know what you would, even with the inclusion of a telephoto lens, what do you raise that price to? It's, once it's $850 or $900, you're really bumping up against the Pixel 10 Pro, and you start being like, well, okay, like, sure, they both have telephoto lenses, but maybe I just, that $100 spread over 36 months is not a particularly large hurdle to clear. So I think this pricing makes sense and is obvious in a way that I'm not surprised by this, would have been surprised by anything else. I think this is exactly what we all kind of expected, and it looks like that's what we're gonna get. I guess this month by the time you're listening to this, but next month for us as we record this on Thursday.
Yeah, so that phone stuff, that's out of the way, and again, like, it'll be one less complaint, I guess. So then there is Pixel Watch 4 pricing, which is same starting price, $349 and $449 for the 41 and 45 millimeters respectively. But according to the latest leak, the LTE version is going back to $50 off. So with the original and the Pixel Watch 2, going from Wi-Fi to LTE was just $50. But with the Pixel Watch 3, it went to $100. And that was a pretty big jump, especially if you got the 45 millimeter and you were paying $499 for a watch. So if that $50 holds, that's a nice price savings on Google's part, and Honest encourages people to get. Where are you on LTE watches? Because I find that it's pretty nice when exercising. That's my biggest use case.
Same boat. I use LTE on whether I'm on a Pixel Watch or, if I'm on an iPhone on the Apple Watch. I always keep a LTE plan active for that because it's not for, I've never left my phone at home.
Same.
Just going out to dinner or something. I could. It would maybe be relaxing.
I
but
could not. I absolutely could not do that. Too much
theory,
stress.
I could. I would. I'm certain I would be. I'd start to scratch the back of my head after a while and be like, "Where I'm missing something." But no. For going out running, you cannot beat not having a phone on you. It is so nice to essentially carry. I carry a water bottle, and that's it. I carry like a little collapsible water bottle on a run, and then otherwise I have my watch and my earbuds, and I'm good to go. And it's great. I still get notifications. I can switch playlists on the fly without having to worry about whether I downloaded them. And I find that no matter what music streaming platform or watch you're using, downloading playlists can often be surprisingly finicky. We're more than a decade into smartwatches, and it's still like, man, this still kind of sucks. Like it's still like I hit bugs all the time.
Yeah, it's wild how that it's so resource constrained, even though these chips are getting pretty good and the RAM is getting pretty good.
Yeah.
But all actions, processes on a watch just have to happen so quickly, or they're gated after a few seconds. So that's the thing that still needs improvement. Yeah. And honestly, it's a battery thing. It'll always be a battery thing.
Oh yeah.
Until we get a breakthrough on that front. Speaking of battery, I think we got a really big confirmation on the phone that there are Qi 2 magnets, and that Pixelsnap is going to look like a MagSafe puck, basically.
Yeah, I mean, this is everything I've wanted. I truly think this might cement that I am upgrading to my personal.
Oh, I've seen that sentiment.
Yeah,
all over the place. I've seen that. This is literally the one thing that is getting people to upgrade, and none of the previous features that have leaked have caused this level of excitement or straight out I'm upgrading. But so this is it. You have a charging puck. That's it's basically a large version of the Pixel Watch 3 charger. It's rounded. It's wide.
It's such a Google move to like make it look like the watch charger the year that they appear to be switching to a new style of charger. Where it's you guys, it was the same thing last year where it's like, we've unified around the camera bar ... except for on the Pixel 9 Pro Fold. That one has its own camera design. It's like, guys, it's like
so close.
You're so close.
So far away. Yeah. So magnets, it's going to be a boon for case.
Yeah,
accessories.
But I'm thrilled as someone who doesn't typically. I actually have a case on my Pixel 8 right now, but someone who doesn't typically use cases at least all the time. I'm really happy that there is finally going to be like a mainstream Android device that has these magnets built in, because I've been begging. I believe the Qi 2 standard was finalized almost 2 years ago. I think it was the fall of 2023, and obviously that doesn't mean that it's ready to go and ready to be put into a phone. I think maybe looking back, anyone, including myself, who was hoping it would be in the S24, was maybe getting a little ahead of themselves. But certainly it could have been in the S25. Certainly it could have been in the Pixel 9, and I'm just happy to see it's here. And I think with just one company like making the jump into having it built into the phone rather than relying on cases, I think I'm really hoping we'll see Samsung and OnePlus, these companies we've seen.
This is going to cause such a huge upgrade cycle for chargers.
Well, that too, yeah. It's so ingenious, and I really the less techie people in my life, like even they have like, you know, especially obviously if they have an iPhone, like have really fallen in love with MagSafe accessories in a way that like other quote unquote nerdy, you know, relatively niche features or even just like wireless charging in general have not convinced people. Like the ability to swap in and out of accessories. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, wireless charging is not that prevalent. People are fine with wires, which is I've always found to be an interesting thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's I'm thinking of like car dock accessories, being able to easily dock your phone to next to your steering wheel or whatever. That's like vents, accessories that go into vents, that kind of stuff. That's going to be a big upgrade cycle for Android. And I think the nice upside is how it can leverage existing Apple stuff. So like even though there's no like a Pixelsnap or no Android stuff out of the gate, being able to leverage that existing ecosystem is going to be really nice, and a proponent for standards, for cross-platform standards.
Yeah. Oh my, it's well, and you know, so let's say you buy a Pixel 10 and you buy a bunch of MagSafe accessories, Pixelsnap accessories, and so on. And then, you know, in a couple years, 2-3 years, you decide you're ready to upgrade and you want to go to the Galaxy S28 that has G2 built in. Like, I love that all of those accessories you can keep. You won't have to replace those after this. Like, unless they eventually fully redo both like the magnet alignment for both MagSafe and G3 or whatever. Like, in theory, like this is what the magnet arrangement is. And so, you know, it might, you know, maybe your charging puck grows outdated because we support faster charging speeds now or something. But largely speaking, like, you know, if you buy a MagSafe battery bank for your Pixel 10, it should work on your Pixel 12, assuming it still has G2 built in, or like a future Galaxy device. Like, that's great.
Battery packs. That's the thing best. I also forgot. Yes, they are.
Yeah.
That's also going to. I kind of want Google to make one. I'm curious what their design would look like.
Oh, can I tell you my dream thing? And they'll never do it because they don't do this anymore. But I would have loved back in the day a magnetic battery bank covered in the old like the material they made the fabric cases out of. That would have been so nice. It would have been so cool.
Oh, this is so dumb, but battery packs that have screens are causing me to upgrade all my battery packs. I don't know what. It's such going from like the 5 tiny lights or whatever to a screen with a percentage is actually kind of nice. That has caused a personal upgrade cycle.
No, it's great. Anchor, when I was at their booth at CES, they were like, hey, like I was checking out that like that bigger battery bank they have that's like retractable and has like a lanyard cable. And they were like, hey, I don't really want to carry this home. Like, I don't want to pack this and put it on the plane because it's a pain to do.
Yes.
If you come back tomorrow, we'll just give you this unit that we've been showing everybody. And so I have this like $130 Anchor battery bank that they just gave me at CES, and I use it
never have enough
all the time.
Packs.
It's so nice. Like, I genuinely will just throw it in my backpack if I'm going somewhere because like it can top up anything, Switch, Steam Deck, laptop, anything and it's like 20,000 milliamps or something. It is like maybe my favorite gadget in years. It has pass-through power, so if you just plug it into a USB-C port, now you've got a bunch of different USB-C ports. It's great. I love nerding out about battery banks. And like, again, you know, to bring it back to Pixel, we're gonna get so many cool things out of this, like, you know, like futuristic battery banks and stuff that I think will like make the Pixel 10 series feel like much more of a leap forward hardware wise than I think it otherwise would.
Yeah, they needed one big hardware change.
Exactly.
And it's, I think, to the detriment of you. It's not something you see in leaks in just renders. It's magnets are invisible, of course, but it really changed the narrative in a significant way. And I feel like if Google talks about the design, like the hardware changes needed to put in those magnets, I think people will be much more appreciative. It's of like yeah, it looks the same, but there's a lot of work went into supporting these magnets. Again, that's to the detriment of leaks. So yeah, one thing I hoped is that Qi 2, or if like made for Google certification or whatever, is that we are able to see the percentage status of battery packs in like the battery widget or in settings.
Yeah.
I think that would go a long way, like Apple, to make the battery pack experience on Android a bit more cohesive.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I really think that this opens up like, you know, not just better existing accessories, as you're saying, like the ability for, it's not just a dumb power bank with 4 LEDs on the side. Now it's a smarter power bank that can either has a screen on the back or can just communicate with your phone, as you're saying, what the rating percentage is. I also it makes the accessory library so much larger. I've been staring at this render of this blue Pixel 10 with the puck right while we've been talking, and it occurred to me that like they could do like a moto mod style like that, because of the way the Pixel 9 and 10 is like laid out. They could have back plates. Like, they don't do anything else. They're just protective back plates. We have not seen this in a leak. I don't think this is happening, but like I was staring at it and I was like, wouldn't it be so cool if it was like you could buy like, you know, you don't like your boring blue Pixel, you know, 10, but you can slap like a bunch of different like back plates on that both help protect the phone and so on. Like it's the perfect shape for it.
No, I was just this weekend on cleaning stuff last weekend or whatever. I was just looking at the Moto mods. So my original Moto Z has a swollen battery, which is the rip. Such a shame. I ended up putting it in the original box and like not touching it because I don't want to open the box to see how bad it is. So that's probably an active hazard, like packed away.
Oh yeah,
but
it is. Yeah. I have them too. I cleaned up my closet a few months ago, and I was like, oh, four of these have swollen batteries, huh? Just sitting in my closets.
Yeah, I don't want to throw it away either. Yeah. But at the same time, that's a problem for another day. But anyways, I have a Z2 or whatever. Yeah, and the Moto mods, I had one with a nice floral pattern and wood grain and etc. They are nice from a flattening. If you didn't like the camera circle on those and on the pixels, it's a good way to flatten it out. Yeah, you like it doesn't fit any battery. Like it would be amazing if battery cells got so small that you could fit an extra, I don't know, 10-15% safely. Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
But even just the backplate, would be cool. Wow, I might have to write about this actually. I might have to make my pitch to Google because I've now thought of this, and I hadn't even thought about the fact that the Z series had that circle puck, but it's so similar. Like, and it's got like, yeah, I don't know. I'm really into this now. Like I would absolutely use one of those instead of a case, because it adds just as much bulk as a case, or actually even a little less bulk. Yeah, and so it's not even like it's going to make
back glass. Yeah,
exactly. If Google's not doing this, you know, they're leaving money on the table. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, they should absolutely do this for future generation. Moto mods.
It's right there. Ideas on the table. Speaking of Pixel leaks, we also saw right before we started recording, the Pixel Buds 2a leaked, and I don't have a ton to say on these, mostly because they look like Pixel Buds. They look like a cross between the A series and last year's Pro 2.
Yeah. I think the thing I'd add is I liked the original Pixel Buds Pro. The shape, the fit was fine for me. But they were pretty heavy, so much so that like I would use the original A series. The Pixel Buds Pro 2 fixes that issue for me, though. Like I still find the original Pixel Buds Pro design, that bean shape, to be a bit more comfortable. Yeah. So I'm curious to see where the 2A goes, especially in terms of like stripping features out. I assume it won't have a gesture pad that you just only be able to tap, and you can't do anything with volume, which is really all earbuds need volume controls as a baseline.
Yeah, I fully agree. It is interesting, and not that we expected this to change, but Google's kind of the last, or not the last, but certainly the last like Android OEM company making headphones that hasn't like adopted that stem shape that we've seen.
Yeah.
First with the AirPods, and then Samsung has it, and OnePlus has it. Like I obviously there are other earbuds that don't. Sony, I on and on. Bose has a stem design, but it's very different than like the AirPod stems. And I think that's interesting. Like obviously we've seen that kind of happen because not just because of the volume controls you're talking about, but also like it's just the mic, it improves the mic placement. Like it just makes for a better,
slightly closer. Yeah,
exactly.
It's the thing I don't like about the stem design is when you put it in the case, when you take it in and out of the case, you're inherently touching the part that touches your oily ear. And that you have to wipe your hands afterwards. Right. That's
rather
what I
than
really
the back
don't like.
of it, the like rubberized back.
Seems like I'm pretty sure that's unsolvable unless you have like some kind of design.
Like a lifts them up or something. Like you push the bottom and they pop out or something. I don't know how you would do that, but it would be.
Me either.
No, I think and it would make the case so much bigger too. So I doubt that ever happens. Yeah, I guess it's a trade off for that improved mic placement. But I don't know. I've the only Pixel Buds I've used were the only Pixel Buds I've used were the A series, the original A series, which I got free with something. I don't remember what. Maybe my Pixel 6. Are they? Is the A series that old? Right now I have a pair of whatever the most recent Bose earbuds are. That I don't know. I had some issues with previous Bose Quiet Comfort earbuds with the software, but these have been pretty rock solid, and the ANC is good. And then I also have OnePlus Buds 3 Pro or whatever somewhere around here, and a pair of AirPods Pro around here somewhere. Gotcha. And I switch between them kind of at based on what I'm using and whatever is charged. But yeah, I like the Bose ones a lot because they are like they have really good ANC and they're super comfortable. But they and grippy. And actually that's a device that doesn't have the stem thing at all. They are very Pixel Bud shaped, I would say. So those are not terrible. But I don't know. I always really liked the A series because, like you said, they're very light. I haven't used the Pros, but it's good to note that those are now as light as those. But I always had issues with the rubber, the little rubber tip on them never quite fit my ear right, and would like after an hour, my ears wouldn't feel heavy, but that little rubber tip would start to kind of give my ears like a whatever the equivalent of an earache, but you know what I mean.
I feel that. Yeah, I still feel that with the again, like I feel like the bean shape of the original Pixel Buds Pro that rested in your ear much more comfortably versus the current Pro 2, where there is something a half circle, semicircle protruding. So, but in general, it's interesting that they still see value in the A series and the Pro 2, which they look to be offering in a new color, and nothing in the middle. Like the original Pixel Buds approach. It's either super cheap or something a bit more premium. It's an interesting space they've got it. But yeah, the 2A, they should continue with the A series. People know what it is. But I'm surprised there isn't a base, or what would the base Pixel Buds even look like?
Like a theoretical base, like something even
theoretical
below.
Base.
I don't know. Like they should keep the older A, like the A series one around, and just like the Pixel Buds A, the first gen around, and just sell those at like $50 or something.
Yeah,
maybe.
It's a very interesting way to get into Google's ecosystem, and you get Gemini.
Yeah, I mean, there's real advantages to getting these over like any of the earbuds I just mentioned. Yeah, I don't know. Like I think these are interesting. I think I wonder if we'll start to see more frequent buds releases because of Gemini. Like I do wonder if because again, when was the first A series? Are those like 4 years old?
Those are very old. No, those are very old.
I feel like I got them with my Pixel 6. Like I think that's where I got them. And maybe I'm wrong, but I didn't pay money for them. I know that. I got them as an inclusion from something. And I don't know. Like I think we're long overdue for a refresh for these. And I do think with Gemini being the future of Google, like straight up, I wonder if we start seeing more frequent releases, if only just to like either push, maybe give Gemini more processing power or something. Like I wonder if we just lean into, in addition to better audio quality, like leaning into these as like Gemini first earbuds, assistant lowercase a earbuds, Yeah.
So yeah, those are the latest leaks this week. It'll absolutely continue.
Yeah, we've got like 20 days to go. You better get ready for a leak a day, everything. Probably.
Absolutely, everything is going to come out. One more thing I would say about the Pixel Watch on charging. So It appears alongside the same week as the Pixelsnap, which the name is interesting.
Yeah.
Let's touch on the name for a hot minute.
Sure.
I assume it'll be camel cased, but the fact, yes, they should brand it in the first place like MagSafe. Qi 2 is not something that will be recognizable to most people. So yes, it's good they're branding it, but on the flip side, it's going to be weird when like Samsung gets into the space and they branded something else. It's I guess as long as people know, they think magnets and they know it works, but the fragmentation there might be harmful for the Android ecosystem.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. I would be surprised. I think really only Google and Samsung are going to, because I do think Samsung will chase Google on this and run kind of headfirst into additional accessories. And I do think we're headed towards Samsung building, if not into the S26 series, then certainly the S27 series will have magnets natively in the phone with a first-party lineup of accessories that I'm going to assume are called Galaxy Mag. That's my guess right now. Galaxy Mag. Pixelsnap and Galaxy Mag.
Oh, gosh.
Listen, it's possible.
I do.
I like the Pixelsnap branding because I think
it reminds me of Nintendo, if they like the Nintendo.
Yes, I was gonna say the same thing. If they advertise it right, they can do the same like snap of the Switch commercials with the like accessories of the Pixel. Like I think that's a really good way to get people's attention, and I think maybe the smartest piece of branding Nintendo ever did was that snap sound with the first Switch. And it's a company with that typically knows how to advertise, maybe the Wii U era aside. So, that says a lot. But yeah, I don't know. I kind of like it. I agree with you that I would expect this to be camel case and not be like one full word lowercase as we're seeing it right now. But either way, I think it's good branding, and I think you're right. It's really smart for Google to not just do like, oh, we've got Qi 2 accessories. Like we support Qi 2, but to make it its own thing, to make it, to make it feel like Pixel is an ecosystem, which it is. But I think this is another really good way to be like, we are an ecosystem. If you're buying this phone, you get an ecosystem.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the name. But with the Pixel Watch 4, with the renders, we've seen like there's a protrusion. There are two protrusions.
Yes.
To allow for this side charging, this side dock or whatever. And I think it's mostly fine. Though that said, I am somebody that wears the speaker side out. The speaker side is facing the world versus it facing me. So I'm pretty sure there won't be any durability issues there. It doesn't get bumped a lot, but like Google, we'll see what the official vendors and advertisements look like, but it's going to be noticeable, and it's something that people will absolutely notice.
Yeah, I think it's kind of a, we talked a lot about the charging dock last week, and I still think there's like smart ideas out of that, but at the same time, it does like, for more reasons than just the placement of the dock, it really gives Moto 360 vibes, in which I mean that like in the way that the Moto 360 looked really good until you turned the screen on and you saw the flat tire aesthetic, which never bothered me, but I know bothered a lot of people. And I had the first 2 generations of that watch, but I feel like it's going to be similar with this, where like, it's kind of a perfect round circle, except if you look at it at the right angle, you see these the side sort of unsightly
protrudes. So have the crown.
But that gives such a watch aesthetic. I don't know. I feel like this is the one thing that really it screams smartwatch in a way that like maybe the side button doesn't so much. Fair. I don't know. And I know obviously Ben Schoen has also focused on this a bit. He wrote a piece about it yesterday as we record this. But I don't think it's going to bother me too much, but I would need to see it in person on at least somebody's wrist, if not.
It doesn't appear to be color matching, which is what vendor so far shows us. Maybe it looks perfectly fine if you get the silver aluminum shiny case, but it appears that it's always going to be silver regardless of color. And if it's silver and black or silver and whatever, that might be stick out a bit more. But
exactly,
as you pointed out last week, it's 4 generations of watches, 3 different charging mechanisms.
Yeah.
So I do think they have to stick with this one. They have to decide. Honestly, the puck was perfectly fine for me.
Yeah, I agree.
I guess this gives it a bit of a differentiator.
Yeah.
I mean, exactly like the Moto 360, which had a dock too, the side dock.
Yeah, it's so funny that I fully forgot. I wore those watches for, years, and I fully forgot about the charging dock until we talked about it last week, where I was like, oh yeah, I completely forgot that, like, through most of college, that was like my bedside clock was the Moto 360, and I had forgotten. So I am kind of looking forward to that design coming back. Although this is not enough to make me upgrade from my Pixel Watch 3, if I'm being honest. Like I would need to see some more. I'm not sure this is my generation, Hopefully this is still the charger in a couple years, so that when I eventually upgrade, it's still there.
Or you entirely skip it.
I might, who knows? The Pixel Watch 5 might come with maybe they adopt Pixelsnap for the Pixel Watch 5. Who knows? I don't know. Probably not, but anything's possible at this point. I know the sizing doesn't fit, but I'm just, I don't feel I wouldn't bet money on future Pixel Watches using this dock, because as we have seen, Google will change its charging decisions on a whim.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, we can end on this.
Yeah.
I got AI weather reports on my Pixel 8 this week, and Google did not make a big deal out of it. It just kind of happened. I opened my Pixel 8, my weather app, and like there it was. Like it was originally trying to just like load it was trying to load the AI weather report.
The Gemini, the Gemini Nano download.
Exactly. And it was like a blank space where it couldn't quite get it, so I had to force close the app a couple times, which is my favorite Android hobby. And then suddenly it was there. I want to call this out because we're talking obviously a lot about new Pixel hardware, right, that we're going to get in a few weeks, right? And I just think it's very cool that Google will kind of extend, features back to older hardware without much fanfare, right? Like I do appreciate that even though I'm on like 2-year-old hardware at the moment, like it is nice to open up my device and be like, oh, that thing that is on the Pixel 9 the Pixel 9 Pro is suddenly on my like older device that Google figured out a way to make it work, and feel native. And I don't know. That's not a thing that is unique to Google, but I appreciate it nonetheless, as we are so caught up in Pixel hype cycle territory. I'm happy to see attention still given to some of these older devices that you don't need to upgrade from.
And more broadly, I'm very curious what the 9 Pro, especially what it gets from the 10 series, because I do think that the 9 Pro especially needs to get more new features backported, whether it's whatever the latest version of Pixel Screenshots is or what.
Yeah.
I think it's to really continue the pixel drops to make them meaningful. And if you buy a modern Pixel, you get AI features for more than just the latest AI features for more than just 1 year. I think that's a critical thing. Google will probably not talk about it in August, but come the next, the December feature drop, I think that's when they need to backport some of these old features to really, just even for existing customers. Like if you buy the 10, when the 11 comes out, you want to know you still have the latest.
Yeah, they're pretty, as you said, they're pretty good about that. Like I do think that December feature drop always is always a big part of it. Is always like last year's hardware gets 80% of the stuff we introduced, 2 to 4 months ago. And I don't know, I appreciate that they don't keep you waiting that long, and it's pretty standard. And even when you do have to wait a year for something like AI weather reports, it's obvious that they are working on like trying to make this stuff work on hardware as old as they can, and the I don't know, I appreciate it as a Pixel user without the latest hardware, but that's I think that'll do it for us this week. Abner, thank you for joining me. I hope Damien is back with us next week. He is in travel hell. I would say he is trapped in travel hell, so we wish him the best. But yeah, thank you for joining me, Abner, and to everyone else, thank you for listening. We will catch you again next week. Bye.
Bye.